You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
And we are recording.
We're
Hello,
nice
friends.
now.
You're listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast.
Buongiorno.
Live from Canada.
Live Saturday night.
How you doing, Frankie boy?
Doing good. I'm excited. You said it best. We've got a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about today.
How you doing?
I'm doing really good. We did some training, some rugby training yesterday.
Nice.
You missed out. You didn't even show up.
You know why?
Why?
Tell the people why.
Because you got stitches in your butt.
Exactly. Next week I'll be back.
I was waiting for the
My
rest.
ass bionic and renewed.
I was waiting for the rest of the week to make that joke.
Yeah, I've still got stitches in my ass cheek, so next
It was
week.
hard. It's all fitness.
I know, I came to the last two.
It's tough.
I was there when you weren't.
I was sick.
Whatever. You
Had a
weren't there.
virus.
You weren't there.
I had a virus.
You should have been there. We missed you.
I only go because we go out for lunch afterwards.
That place we go after is really good as well, isn't it?
Head to eggs, Benny.
Yeah. Oh, the dinner hash. Very nice with the brisket.
Hey, how old were you
Mm.
when you played your first game of rugby? How old were you?
I think I was 6.
You were 6?
Yeah.
Just a little tyke?
Yeah, we start young. It's like you would have played hockey at a young age, right?
You're like, Dad, watch you play.
I was born late in my school year, so I got to play with the year below me's team for a long time. So I was the shit king of Pooh Mountain on the field for about 5 years, and I
Oh,
loved
so
it.
you were the youngest guy in your grade
Yeah,
the whole time?
it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was. So until we got to I think it was under 13s or 14s when everyone went through puberty, and they were like, yeah, he can't be in this team. He's like a head taller than everyone. And I'm not a tall guy, as you know.
I
I'm
was
like
the
distinctly average.
I was the oldest in my class. All going out through school.
Did they make you play the year up or anything like that?
They held me back in. Do you got kindergarten?
We call it nursery, but yeah.
Yeah. It's the year before the first year.
Yeah.
So they held me back a year. Like, he's not mentally ready.
It's a bit harsh when you're an infant, but yeah.
Yeah, so I had to wait and do kindergarten. I did kindergarten twice
Yeah.
because, like,
Because you were stupid.
I was retarded.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't know. I don't remember, like that much. Like, they just said I wasn't, like, mentally ready.
We don't do that in the UK. I've never saw anyone get held back a year. Or maybe that happens. It never happened where I was. You just force them through.
I had
through.
kids in my class, some of my classes, when we were younger. They were, like 4 years older than us.
That is weird.
And they held them back.
That is so
They
depressing.
don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They stopped doing that, but back in the old days, yeah, if you didn't if they thought you weren't ready enough, they wouldn't push you through.
It's like stealing a year of your life. Because some kids aren't going to be geniuses. Just force them through. Let them get their construction job where they'll make more money than someone with a degree anyway.
And that's exactly what happened with me.
Of course it is. Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because it happens to everyone who isn't smart.
Yeah.
But you guys win in the end. You have more money. So good for you.
It's just, but quality of life, I think, is different.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they're stealing your life if they hold you back. It's the year of your
I
life.
agree with you.
It's horrible. It's
But
mean.
you were 6 years old when you first played your first game.
Yeah, but that's not like weird. So is everyone else in my town.
That's
you know?
your fucking plugins, Frank.
My plugins.
Yes, just give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna.
Oh, it's shit. You put it in the wrong one.
Is that it now?
Yeah, always the bottom one. Always the bottom one.
Always the bottom one. I didn't even
Remember.
pause it for that. I'm leaving that whole bit in here.
Oh shit. Actually, it's probably good you didn't pause. We were on a roll. You were talking about so 6 years old that's not weird or anything. That's normal.
No.
Everyone in my town was the same, and we played like tag rugby, whatever until
When do you start tackling?
we started tackling at that age. But
At 6?
yeah, but like you're all tiny and you can't hurt each other. I think I was probably like 8 or 9 when we played our first game of contact rugby, and it was good. I don't know what I'll say.
I'm so jealous. I was 30 years old.
In a way, though, it's nice that it's a hipster sport here because you get to choose your involvement. Where I'm from, like, if you don't like it, it's forced on you, you know? Like, you end up, some kids get traumatized. My brother does not like rugby, and he's a big guy. He's much bigger than I am, and he would be a good player, but he hated it because it was forced on him.
My parents never forced anything on me.
No, but the culture in the schools do. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of the school. I didn't go to the
The
like-
schools don't force anything on you here either.
Oh, but you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you go to a gym class and it's like, this is the sport we're playing. It's like
Yeah.
that, you know? Like, and
So-
all the goth kids will have their letter that they've forged to say they can't play.
Sometimes I wish my parents would have pressured me into something.
Oh,
Like, you know,
yeah.
like, come on, pressure. Like, when you see kids that have parents that like have high pressure,
Yeah.
those kids are always like really successful.
Mine did, but then they were not consistent enough to force me to do it. So I had piano lessons, karate. I went to the military cadets. I quit all of them within like a few months because my brain wasn't good.
My parents never even looked at one of my report cards. I mean, I would just throw it in the trash when I got home. Like, they didn't even look. They didn't even ask me for it.
Hey, in a way, that's caring, you know,
Yeah.
because they just want you to be happy.
But yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, I wish I would have played rugby when I was younger, like just to hone some skills.
It was a lot funner at that age
have some
because
more foundation.
you're fearless, right? You don't care about getting hurt. Everyone's like half the size, you know.
And
It was a lot more fun.
you keep that fearless growing up. It doesn't like
Yeah.
as you like from a young age, you're used to like just doing that.
In a weird way, though, I remember when I was 13 or 14 and we all went through puberty, and I remember a moment in life where it went from this is fun and I'm not thinking about the physical consequences. I remember we went on a tour to Ireland, actually, and I remember the very game where I thought, this is scary.
Oh, this is where it all comes from.
Yeah, it got scared because they made me play with the year above for the first time. So because I kind of got jumped into a higher year where everyone was immediately on my team and their team a lot bigger, and like I'm a year behind in development, essentially, physically.
We really exposed something here with you.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
I know you have this like internal hatred for Ireland, and I was like, it's kind of weird. But now that I know that you went there and
Oh, we
got
beat them.
assaulted,
Yeah, we
and you're
we
like,
beat
this
them.
hurts.
Yeah, yeah. But it when I came home every game after, there was a fear, and I think it was puberty. You know, it was like because I was a year behind. Everyone
Did
was a
you
lot
see
bigger.
someone get like severely injured or?
No. It wasn't like I didn't want to play. I wanted to play. I kept playing. I just, I didn't. There was something about me. It made me more conscious of the dangers of the game suddenly. Or like overnight, I was like, this is fucking dangerous. I gotta be careful.
It's like when I used to build houses.
Yeah.
You'd always finish the house. Like go on the roof and finish the roof. You'd put the plywood on the roof, shingles, stuff like that. Or one day we were doing it, and then this guy came from another crew to help us out, and he had these like crossed eyes
Yeah.
and shit, and like it's construction. So one of our workers was like, "What the fuck's up with your eyes, dude?" Because they don't give a fuck, right?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I fell off a roof."
Jesus.
Instant terror. I could not literally go on a roof and work anymore. I looked
Yeah.
at him like looking at this guy with his fucked up eyes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be like that.
That
Like,
was
oh
the
my God.
moment. That's the moment,
was
right?
the moment.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have like a shock, and you're like, this isn't what I thought it was. The naivety shatters, right? So
Yeah.
that happened to me. I mean, I still obviously played rugby until last year, so
Yeah, I just jealous. I just wanted to know how old you were. I was like, man, I wish I would have got
young
into it.
as fuck.
Young.
Young as fuck. Yeah.
Should we get into
talk
like
about rugby, shall we?
professional rugby?
We should.
The stuff that people actually listen to?
Yeah. We've had feedback
As
say
we, like,
stop gassing at the start.
That was all about rugby though. That was all rugby
I
related.
don't think people want to hear about our personal lives.
That's not what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, balance is good anyway.
What
you
does
know.
the listener think?
The listener?
We have
We'll
a
have to
list-
ask him or her
Yeah.
or them or whatever it is.
Yeah. What they think.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what we were talking about before the podcast about the England squad
Okay.
and our revelation there.
This is kind of like a part 2 of England is a jigsaw puzzle that no one can solve.
Because when we were talking about the squads
Yeah.
and who was the most dangerous,
Yeah.
and who can beat who, and
Yeah.
Canada's like the spine of England is unknown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
But you made a good point. There used to be a spine.
There used to be a spine,
Yeah.
and since that spine left
Yeah. Talk about this. Who was the
or
spine?
aged out,
Yeah. Yeah. Who was that spine?
the spine right now,
No.
or the spine
Who was
that used to be.
England Grand Slam under Eddie Jones? Who were those? Who was around that time anyway? Not necessarily in that year, but
You'd
who
have
was,
Jamie George,
yeah.
right? And now he's aging out. They're kind of like
Yeah.
keeping him around too
Or
long.
before that, Dylan Hartley,
Dylan Hartley.
right? Their hooker was we knew who their hooker was,
Yeah.
right?
You knew who the 8-man was.
Yeah, who was that?
Big
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vunipola.
yeah.
Number 9 was
Ben Youngs.
Ben Youngs.
Yeah,
10, you had Owen
Farrell.
Farrell.
Yeah.
And then fullback, you had
Mickey Brown.
Mike Brown.
He was England. He was I know we kind of joke about him, but he was the England
Yeah.
fullback of choice for a long time.
And now, like, Borthwick has not, since he started, he hasn't established his spine
No,
of his team.
no. And he has the players to do that. Is what
He
we
does
keep,
have the players,
yeah.
but they don't know who the guys are.
I do. Okay.
Who should be the hooker?
Okay, and this is actually a position of riches for them because Theo Dan is class.
Yeah.
He is class. And Jamie George, when he's fit, he's like your senior guy who is a leader, and he's probably, for me, I would start Theo Dan and bring Jamie George on for his leadership and expertise in the second half. But Theo Dan's your guy. But Borthwick sees it the other way. That's less contentious for me, right? They're both good enough to be first and second in any order, right? And then at 9, I don't fucking know. At 8, sorry, I don't hate Don Brandt as much as you do, but it's not Don Brandt, right?
No, it's not Don Brandt.
Right, and you had Zach Mercer, who probably his stock has fallen, but a year ago he was a shoo-in.
You have Ben Earls, but is Ben Earls really an 8?
That's the thing; he's really good, but I think he's a 7.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree with you.
Yeah, they don't have a big physical 8, do they?
They don't have someone that's putting their hand up like, I am the 8-man of England.
Yeah, and then 9.
I am the 9. Not was it between like 3 guys? They keep
It's
Harry
close.
Randall.
Ben Spencer was nearly the guy, but like, yeah, again, we don't know. And this is the most annoying position for me is 10 because Marcus Smith is definitely the guy. He's definitely the guy. And every time they bring on George Ford or start George Ford, who's a good player, I think this is not a position where you need to be chopping and changing it, right? You've got your guy who wants to play 80 minutes, who's really good, and you can't just stick with him, you know?
And fullback too. It's
No fucking clue.
yeah.
Okay, if I have to hear Freddie Stewart was good under the high ball once more when he had a mediocre game, like
He
know?
has been blowing it up in the Prem.
in the Prem, he's good.
This year. He's been
Internationally,
exceptionally good.
all he's good at is catching high balls, apparently.
Yeah.
You know?
But I just
So-
wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a really interesting point. Like, they don't,
Yeah.
their identity down the spine
Yeah.
is not solidified.
In Wales, we don't have a good team right now. But if I was an English fan, I'd be frustrated because I do have a good team, but I can't put them on the field at the same time. And I was talking to you about the results England have had in the last calendar year. Who have they played and who have they beaten?
Oh, yeah, this is surprising.
They've got bookends of Japan, hammered Japan one side each of this sort of calendar year period. In between, lost every single game. New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia. Maybe you're not surprised by losing to South Africa, but losing to Australia and actually kind of getting hammered by Australia
Yeah.
and losing to New Zealand in 3 games where they could have won 2 of them is a bit embarrassing considering what you've got in terms of talent and resources, you know? Like, you shouldn't lose every single...
They need to do more schoolboy pillaging.
Yeah. The last good thing England did that they can be proud of is beating Ireland last Six Nations, right? Where it was a hell of a game. They actually stood up. But in that entire time since, they've done nothing of note, right?
Yeah, it's just, and you're totally right. It's not like the players aren't there, the talent's not there. It's not like that, or they lack talent. They got some of the best players in the world.
They got the best Welsh winger
In fact,
in a
in my eyes,
generation.
England should be winning the World Cup with everything they have. They should be winning the World Cup every other time,
Yeah. The pressure's on them.
or it should be every other year they win the Six Nations.
Do you hear what Squidge said on? He was on that podcast with Ben Young and Dan Cole. Do you hear what he said?
No,
He said, and he knew it was a bit of a controversial thing to say. He said England have got a better chance of winning the World Cup than Ireland do next time round.
they should always. They should.
Right.
He's 100% right.
I'm surprised you agree.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah,
Where's your evidence?
that Ireland. I mean, sorry, say that again.
England have a better chance of winning the World Cup next time than Ireland do. That's what he said.
100%.
Why?
They have, their player pools is like what, probably 10, 20 times larger. Their budgets are way they have everything they need and already established to be successful.
If you're basing it on what?
Every World Cup
Yeah.
out of the Northern Hemisphere,
Yeah. England should be challenging.
England should be challenging. England should be the favorite out of the Northern Hemisphere teams to go to the final.
I agree with that. I don't agree with the sentiment that England have a better chance to beat Ireland based on what's going on, though. Like, if you look at actually what's happening, where are you getting that from?
Because Squidge knows that England are in a position where if someone's in the right position and makes the right decisions, it's a decision thing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And he knows that. Like, that's why Squidge is smart. He knows that it's all about decision making that's holding the England team back.
Yeah.
They're just not utilizing their talent correctly.
That is true.
There.
That is true. They've got all the pieces of the puzzle, as I discussed. But when have they actually made the right decision in the last 10 years?
Well, they came pretty close with Eddie Jones, I guess. Eddie Jones was the person.
He was the only one who's. But look, you're right. He was the last guy who had a real chance of doing it.
I remember they almost went to a World Cup final.
They did go to a World Cup final.
Not in 2023. They were 1 point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
1 point separated them from going to a final
again.
Yeah. 2 years in a row.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So it's not that they. Yeah, I agree with Squidge Rugby about that.
Maybe you're convincing me a bit, actually. But yeah, like, I just don't have faith in the management or the coaches to make the right decisions.
That's the only thing that's holding them back.
It feels like there's some rot there because you saw that interview with Bill Sweeney where he's really bullish and he's like, I'm not going anywhere, you can fuck off. Just swigging from a bottle of Jack Daniels, yelling at the camera, fucking leave me alone.
That was just, when I saw that with Bill Sweeney, when I saw that article and him saying and read what he said, I was like, that is sad.
It feels like
you're just going to hold it hostage.
It's like a dictator, isn't it?
You don't care what your clients want.
Yeah, your stakeholders.
Who runs a company like that?
Yeah. It seemed a bit detached from reality, didn't it?
It was such a slap in the face to everyone that he serves.
Yeah.
You're not a king.
No, and it felt like a dictator.
You're not a fucking king.
Like, you can fuck off. I'm doing what I want. It was tyrannical.
Like, your job is to keep us happy.
Yeah. You're beholden to us. It was Trumpish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was Trumpish.
It was very. He just you're not a king.
Yeah.
And that's how kings talk.
It is
they don't have to answer to anyone.
No.
Because they're a king.
And they think they're better than you, right?
Yeah.
They think they're better than you and they know what's right.
I thought when he said that right there, when he said that, made that statement, I was like, this guy should be removed automatically.
Yeah, just for saying those things.
Just right then and there, you're saying, I don't have the people I work for's best interest in mind. Like, I don't respect
anyone else's opinion enough
the
to
people that I'm supposed to serve,
Yeah.
the product that I'm supposed to maintain.
Yeah.
I don't respect it. I don't respect the people that watch, listen to the product.
Yeah, because as much as it's fun to make England the baddies, the pantomime villains, I know a lot of English guys who are into their rugby in just the same way the Welsh guys are. They go to their local club, they play, they love it, they love rugby. They love rugby, right?
The Prem is great.
Yeah, and there's a lot. What I'm saying is,
their team has a bunch of rock stars in it. The characters in their team are great. Like, I love watching.
I couldn't shut up about the Gallagher Prem last year. It was the best league last year.
Yeah,
unironically, it was the best league to watch, right?
But Bill Sweeney was just
didn't
the most
give a fuck.
Disrespectful.
It was disrespectful.
It was just, and I can't believe he's still that should have been you can't. Like,
you can do what you want these days.
It really does. It really does expose. Like, you just can do whatever you want. If you're just in a kind of position of power, you can say and do whatever. There's no accountability.
Yeah.
Like, when he said that, I was like, that just proves he doesn't care
about
the
stakeholders, the grassroots, the people
that he's supposed to be serving.
Yeah. Revolution. Let's go.
And it's, oh man, it was just so mind blowing. I was like, wow, there should be a revolt. Like, they should be all in to get him out. Like, he's clearly saying, I'm more important than everything else.
If this was in France, they'd already have set a car on fire.
Yeah.
On the streets.
Oh yeah, if that was France, that's what I like about the French.
Yeah, me too. I've got big respect for it.
Like, they could be a bunch of guys that stock chips on shelves.
Yeah.
They get treated around. They're fucking striking, horns blowing.
And it could be over something like
parading.
Your boss is like, hey, do you mind shaving a bit so you look? No, fuck you, burning a car down right now. Let's go.
That's why I love the French. They don't put up a shit.
No, not at all.
That was the craziest thing when I was in France. How many fucking strikes there were.
Yeah.
Because everywhere we went, there was some form of thing. And it was the most random thing. It was like the people that cleaned the train stations. They were fucking.
They were striking.
They were striking.
Yeah.
And they were marching around. They had horns and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, good for
and
them.
everyone supports them, right? I drove past a protest, a strike here the other day, And the amount of people who weren't supporting them shocked me, because in where we are, it's like union is a dirty word,
we're
right?
going down a dark alley.
Yeah, I'm not gonna linger here. I'm not gonna linger here. Don't worry. But it is sad that like people don't support their fellow working man. But in France, they do.
Yeah.
They'll burn down a car for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
they'll burn down their
How
own.
many times have they fired a coach?
There'll be
in fucking World
Peugeots on
Cup?
fire everywhere.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, you got me fired up with a Bill Sweeney.
fucking England.
That was just fucking brutal.
They've ruined England for the English.
Yeah, he ruined England for the English. That thing, that story you told me about that Tuipulotu kid,
Kaputui Pilotu.
that story you were telling me last episode where I wasn't listening to you, and then I finally read it for myself, and I was like, "Holy fuck, have you heard of this?"
Oh man, that annoyed me. I was sitting here going, do you listen to a fucking word I say? Yeah.
That's like some sinister shit too.
Well, we went through the exact same conversation with Faye Weboso, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there's probably 3 or 4 other guys on Exeter's books who are Welsh Academy lads who, Welsh Academy is the wrong word, Welsh born, who have been, you know, they get the resources and the training via England academies, and they have to sign a document that says if you get this, you have to agree to play for England at age grade level. And
'Cause
that's
they
exactly what happened with Keputu Pilatu.
Yeah, you take these kids,
Yeah.
put them in the English system,
Yeah.
then their friends, the people that they trust and rely on, become
They're guys.
the people in the English
And
system.
then it's easy for them to say, look, I grew up with these guys. I feel English. You feel English because that's what they wanted to happen.
Yeah.
They made you English, right? They cradle snatched you and made you feel English. And I don't want it to be an England-Wales thing. It is predatory. There's not a lot we can do about it in Wales.
It feels like when you read the story and you look at the system and how that's working,
Yeah.
it is predatory.
It feels predatory, doesn't it? But what this is actually more about for me, and this is broader,
We need Steve Hansen from Dateline to come in and catch the English guy.
outside his house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you
Were
been
you sending
texting Welsh teenagers? Oh no, I thought he was 15.
Yeah, I thought he was. I was just telling him it wasn't safe to message English rugby coaches
I
on
was
the
just telling him
internet.
to stay away from Bill Sweeney. Okay, I was trying to warn him.
Just sit down here.
Yeah.
Well, did you say this? You throw balls really good.
We'll have you the strongest ball thrower in England pretty soon. Don't
Did you
worry.
text that? Oh, I might. I don't know. I can't remember if I texted it.
No, it was automatically generated. I don't know. Predictive text. The thing I was going to say is, what makes me more sad, though, in a wider rugby way, is how, 20 years ago, if I'm born somewhere, tough shit, you're playing for this country, whether you like it or not. And most of the time, people are like, fuck yeah, I'm playing for my country. These days, what Keputu Pilotu said made me sad. He was like, I want to go somewhere, and I'm paraphrasing, I want to go somewhere where I can play my best rugby. Fine. That's the times we live in, I guess. But it makes me sad because now who you play for internationally is a personal choice. It should never be a personal choice. It's like, do you love this country? You fucking playing for him? Like, are you from this
Maybe
country?
he just loves England.
Maybe. But he didn't say that, though, did he? He said, I'm going to play for the country where I get my development
where
works
development,
out. Right? Like,
That's also the Welsh Rugby Union's fault too for not creating an attractive product for kids. Who
totally,
wanna come.
yeah. We're so shit, and we've fumbled the ball so much that you're not proud to pull on that Wales jersey as much, right? And I understand that as well. Yeah, definitely.
Let's keep this English hate and dissection going.
Okay.
Owen Farrell.
Not having a good time.
Not having a good time. So he's like the highest paid rugby player in the world right now.
Yeah.
Was like 1.2 million.
Is it really?
It's something insane.
Ooh, la
and I'm
la.
pretty confident he's like the highest paid rugby player in the world right now.
I mean,
Is Owen Farrell.
even if he's not, that's a lot of fucking money for a rugby player.
Not having a good time.
No. Do you want me to tell you my conspiracy theory, or do you want to talk about Owen
No,
Farrell?
talk about your conspiracy theory. I want to hear about it.
It's less conspiracy. It's more that there's a curse. There's a witch's curse happening.
A witch's kiss.
There's a witch's curse. There's a witch's curse in England/France going on.
Yeah.
So if you are an undiscovered player, but you're really good, and you go and play for France, then you get a witch's curse, which says you can never play for England again, but you're going to be really good and loved in France. Here are my examples. Nick Abendanon, you may not have heard of him.
I haven't.
Stefan and Delon Armitage.
I have heard that name before.
Yeah. French superstars. Jack Willis is another recent one. There's a couple others, but basically Zach Mercer is actually probably the best example. Guys who played in France, became like fucking legends in their clubs in France, but then couldn't get a sniff at an England jersey. Didn't play a lot for England, or at all in some cases, right? Whereas, if you're already an established guy and you go and play in France, the witch's curse is the opposite. You can keep playing for England, but you're going to be shit in France. And on the media in France are going to hate you. So it's kind of like you can't have one thing or the other. That's the curse.
What about to play devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
Blair Kinghorn.
It doesn't count if you're Scottish. Doesn't count if you're Scottish. This is an English-French curse. But Finn Russell, he didn't have
it goes with Springboks and it goes with All Blacks too.
The curse flirts with other nationalities. Sia Khaleesi, the curse got him, but it's almost strictly true for English guys.
I feel like the problem, like, because you hear this story a lot, like French clubs throwing money at rock stars and not getting the return on their investment.
Yeah. Happens a lot, doesn't it?
I think Racing 92 is kind of the biggest culprit.
I
think the problem is not them like throwing big money at stars.
Yeah.
It's the selection. Like you're throwing so like making Owen Farrell like one of the highest paid rugby players.
It was just
in the world.
stupid, wasn't it?
He's like what 34 years old.
Yeah.
Like what kind of investment is that?
Yeah, it does give you you know when someone gets really rich and they buy like a really gaudy sports car that's going to break down in a week.
Yeah.
It's like you've got more money than sense vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just they just I feel like they just make bad decisions I felt that when they signed Sia Khaleesi, that was also like I thought that was a safe bet. They were paying a lot of money for him, but I felt he was worth it.
Yeah, he's a hard-working, non-ego kind of guy, isn't he?
And they just didn't pan out in France.
Yeah.
There's something going on. I think there's a lot. I think the culture is a problem too.
Well, you can't forget the language barrier either, right? Like I go to a country where I can't speak the language, I'm not going to immediately gel with the team,
but they
am
have
I?
people that like help them with that.
But it's not the same as you're not going to show up and be fluent. Like you can't just have jokes and make jokes and connect with people in the same way. That's going to take a few % off your game, right? You're in a brand new environment with your family. That's going to take a few % off your game. You can't just parachute someone into a new place and expect them to be as good as they were, right?
Well, what about Jack Willis?
That's the thing. If there's less pressure, these guys weren't getting paid big bucks. They weren't getting paid as much. They're getting paid a lot. But these guys get spotted playing well. We'll have them. Dan
Carter went there and won a championship.
Yeah, the curse doesn't apply to
I feel like, but look at that happened to what's the Surveyor kid?
Oh, Julian Surveyor.
Yeah, look what happened to Julian Surveyor.
Well, that did dull his career moving to France, though.
Yeah,
it definitely went downhill after that.
Like something went on there with Finn Russell.
Racing have had.
Why is Finn Russell playing at Bath? Like, why is he not still at Racing 92?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, it's the witch's curse.
They're paying the amount of money they're paying Dan Biggar.
Yeah,
I think in Toulon, right? He's paying.
Yeah,
Toulon,
he is.
Insane. It's like over 800,000. Pounds.
And I think he's smart because he's not whining. And whenever he has a bad game, and he's not as good as he used to be, he just keeps his head down. Right? He hasn't got.
He really likes it there.
He does. He's not got one of those prima donna attitudes, has he? Like he's just like, I'll just get on with my life, whatever.
He knows he's on the brink.
Yeah.
He probably knows he's getting a little overpaid.
Maybe. Yeah.
I wonder if he'll stay in Toulon.
Yeah.
And take a pay cut.
I think Johnny Wilkinson did that many moons ago. Johnny Wilkinson went to Toulon and he became like a folk hero there, and kind of saw out his career there, didn't he?
Yeah. Just you know what? I don't need to be making. I could be making 500,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Take 300,000 off, and I'll stay here. And he'd be worth it.
Yeah. Welsh guys who've gone to France, we do tend to. That's a stupid thing to say. They do tend to like see out their career in a bit more of a kind of head down kind of way, like Alan Wynne, Dan Biggar, Lee Halfpenny at Toulon as well, Reece Webb at Toulon. Mind you, he got panned a bit. I'm
surprised on how I was looking actually the other day about how much these guys get paid.
Yeah.
And I was surprised on how low down the totem pole Antoine Dupont comes up.
Really?
Yeah.
He didn't get paid a lot?
He's getting paid around 700,000 euros or pounds, I can't remember, a year.
Really?
Yeah. I was surprised by that was roughly, and it's really tough. It's really tough to find out what these actual numbers are.
Yeah.
Because I was looking,
they probably built him a palace.
I Googled who is the highest paid rugby player in the URC.
Yeah.
Everything that came up was who was the highest paid rugby player in the world. I could not find anything on pay in the URC.
Yeah, that we're sneaky,
directly.
aren't we?
Yeah, so there's nothing. It was really frustrating.
Because it ranges from a bag of sweets to millions of euros, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was surprised when I saw Antoine Dupont like in the middle of like the highest paid players.
That is weird. Yeah.
And I found one list that that mixes league players in there too. Yeah, some of those guys are making some big bucks too.
Oh, in Australia, yeah, they get a
Yeah.
lot of money, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. But we were talking about England. No, I guess we were talking about French flops and the Witch's Curse. I don't know. Let's move on because I want to talk about Warren Gatland.
Oh, it's about Warren Gatland.
Do you see what he's been up to now? Been sneaky.
He's being sneaky. What did he sneak in?
Guess who's back?
I don't know. Tell me.
Rob Howley.
Rob the gambling man. How
Yeah, but it's sad.
you
But
better count your money.
that's his wrestling walk-in song.
Gamblers is his song.
Yeah.
What's he looking after?
So he's the new attack coach officially, and Alex King, who was the attack coach, has kind of been like backroom stabbed. He's been Game of Thrones. Like they just took him out down a back alleyway,
killed him.
stabbed him, got rid of him, didn't say a word, and then just Rob Howley just sat in his seat.
Threw his body in the river.
Yeah, he just sat there beaming, going, "Look who's back, boys." I don't have strong feelings about Howley either way as a coach. Although, when he was our attack coach, it's not like Wales, when we were successful, it's not like we were famous for our attack, is it?
What's he gonna add? This is
Right.
This is awful in my eyes.
It's, yeah, maybe I'm downplaying
Okay,
it.
just hold the ball and just keep crashing forward.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I gotta go to the casino here. I'll be back.
Yeah.
When he was in charge of the attack coach, they had probably the worst attack in Test rugby.
And the crazy thing was, we were winning Grand Slams by scoring 0 tries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know Wales have a crazy record in the Six Nations? We have the record for the most tries scored in a Grand Slam, in a Six Nations campaign win, and the least tries scored in a Six Nations campaign win. One of them is under Wayne Pivac, where we scored 1 million fucking tries. One of them is under Warren Gatland with Rob Howley as the attack coach. Says it all.
Yeah. This whole like the defense in the Northern Hemisphere is really good,
Yeah.
but the lack of attack that Northern Hemisphere teams have
That's still true as well,
give
isn't it?
them the disadvantage when they play against
Yeah.
the All Blacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Whose defense is excellent, by the way. The All Blacks' defense is fucking excellent.
It's excellent because
Yeah.
they don't have anything thrown at them,
They're not tested.
right? Like you
Yeah.
see these, and they, like I said this before, they don't have to put all that energy into a blitz defense
Yeah.
because everything is so readable
Yeah.
that's being thrown at them. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, just fucking soak it up, and then when we
Yeah.
get our chance, we get our chance.
We'll
We
just
don't-
be faster than them.
We don't need
yeah.
to have this like blitz defense because what the fuck are they? What's the
Yeah.
point?
What are we trying to shut
There's
down?
nothing that we need to blitz.
Yeah.
Because-
Yeah, exactly. We can give them as much time on the ball we want because what they're doing is passing it in a straight line
Yeah.
down the side of the field.
Or they might do a switch.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
a little tiny switch.
Here
like
come Ireland doing a loop play again. Like
Yeah.
I wonder.
a big 4-minute loop.
Yeah.
You know.
Look how many options they've got. Like, don't worry, we've marked every single one of those guys.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like they need to. That's Northern Hemisphere teams need to be more progressive in the attack department. They've mastered the defense,
Yeah.
right? They've basically built their whole defense structure to counter the All Blacks.
Yeah.
It's worked.
Yeah.
It's worked.
Yeah.
You've seen teams get some big wins, level the playing field, but you need to score. You need to get points too.
Yeah. You do. You
and
do.
that's lacking.
It is.
And I could see Ireland really pushing a more open play. South Africa is not. The Springboks are not innocent in this too. They're bad for this too.
What do you mean?
Just being a defensive heavily team and
Yeah.
struggling to get points on the board.
Yeah.
Because they would just bash their way through. But that's not how it works anymore.
But it does work for
All
them.
the teams are bigger, badder. Doesn't with Ireland.
No, I think Ireland are just a team who like possession, don't they? They want the ball. They'll hold on to the ball through multiple phases. Yeah. And they're physical.
Like
I want to go back to the Rob Howley thing, but don't forget about that because this is what it leads into, right? So Rob Howley's back. Alex King's gone. Wales were doing some good things. We've got Adam Jones in as a scrum coach. We replaced the women's head coach with someone really good and competent, Sean Lynn. And then they sneak Rob Howley back in on the eve of the Six Nations. But to talk about it in like an attacking perspective, I can't see anything but kicking possession away and doing running up the middle rugby. And that's all Gatland.
who's gonna chase the balls?
Right. Cam Winnett has come down with a bout of no blood in his veins.
Oh, he had a bad shocker on the weekend too.
Yeah, he did. He didn't play well.
Did you see that? That he went for a kick chase and he kind of like got confused and looked at everyone and then
Yeah.
that was bad.
It was. It was. Yeah, his confidence has been sapped. Gatland really is mismanaging some guys as well. Like he's really shot the confidence of some guys by like picking them in and dropping them in quick succession. You know.
I think he's kind of picked the wrong. He's put his faith in the wrong guys and he's
Yeah.
had to drop them, which has kind of killed maybe some of their
And
mojo.
you have to stick with guys sometimes when they're a bit shit because you have to believe in them.
'Cause
That's what happened with Reece Carey.
I didn't rate Cam Winnett at all. I don't think the world did, and like it didn't work out, and he's not playing good.
I thought everyone was, and I think I don't want to rewrite history. When he played Six Nations for last year, he was nothing but good and consistent. He wasn't amazing,
He was
but he was
right, but he wasn't like what Wales needed, and I think he just put his eggs in the wrong basket. It's like Costello.
Well, we didn't have a choice though,
I thought
did we?
like Gatlin was putting too much into Costello too.
Mm. I think in those guys' cases, there wasn't a choice.
Yeah,
You know, it was sink or swim.
but anyways,
Yeah.
finish your point here. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was kind of done with my point. I'm worried about our attack, and this is sneaky.
It's sneaky and it's kind of going backwards in my eyes.
Yeah. I'm just not looking forward to the Six Nations. I hate being mean about Gatlin because he has given me. I'm grateful to him because he's given me some of my favorite rugby memories. Stood in a pub in Cardiff when we beat England 30 points to 3, and even the English guys were joining in the songs with us at the end. You know, like he's given me some of our famous victories. He's given us Grand Slams, and now he's just kind of destroying his legacy by being he's kind of got like a bunch of yes men around him and he manipulates things just to be like, who's going to do what I say? He's got a bit of dictator vibes going, you know?
My personal conspiracy
Yeah.
is that when a coach is at a team too long,
Yeah.
they lose their knack for
Innovation.
finding new talent.
Yeah.
It's like they get comfortable with the guys that they have,
Yeah.
and they lose their talent sight.
I think coaching should be like a presidency. You do 4 years, then you fuck off. Because everyone stagnates after a time, right?
It just feels like that. It's like, is he really able to see who's the best in the country?
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't got a lot
Does
of choice.
his team like that he has working with him? Are they really picking out the top talent in Wales? Are they going after the top guys?
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Like it's just
It's hard to
it's
say.
very questionable.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Like,
a bit serious.
It's like
Yeah.
another thing about Wales Welsh players.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview with Jim Hamilton
And Gavin Henson.
and Gavin Henson?
That was my favorite rugby interview for a long fucking time. Do you know about Gavin Henson?
This is
Tell
the
me what
guy-
you're gonna think.
This
Tell
is
me-
the guy that I was talking about and I was trying to name,
Yeah.
who was just like kind of like a playboy rock star type dude.
He was the chosen one, man. He was our Anakin fucking Skywalker. He was the best rugby player I've ever seen at some point.
He also like rocked that like early 2000s hairdo.
The spiked gel hair, the fake tan.
for
yeah.
way too long.
Yeah. He lent into it.
He was a metro. We called those metro boys.
The metrosexuals.
Yeah, the metrosexual boys.
Yeah.
They're the Stone Ridge boots and
Yeah.
shit. What did you think about that interview? Did you watch that interview?
I watched it all and I was very engaged. I got to tell you something about Gavin Henson. He was one of my rugby idols as a kid. A lot of people didn't like him because he jumped between teams. He could be kind of a prima donna. And to be honest, he had a lot of injuries.
He reminds me of that. Who's that Wallabies player? I think he might even be with those Crusaders right now. Fuck. He's like that wild kid.
Quade Cooper?
No, he was. He played. I think he played for the Rebels or the Reds, and then he was like in France for a little bit. Came back in the Wallabies.
Curtly Beale?
No, he's like a kid. He's not a kid anymore.
Christian Lealiifano.
No, fuck, I forget his name now. If I said his name, you would know. Like you would know exactly.
He's a 10 for Australia.
He was a 10 he was a 10.
Bernard Foley.
No, he played 10 for a little bit. He played kind of the center.
I think you're thinking of Curtly Beale.
No, I'm not thinking of Curtly Beale. I know who Curtly Beale is. It's like that tall, ugly dude. Sorry. Crusaders. Wallabies.
You got to know these names if you're going to interrupt my rant, Steve.
Oh, here it is. I got him right here. James O'Connor.
James O'Connor.
Yeah.
Okay.
James O'Connor and Gavin Henson are very similar situations.
Like just jumped around a lot?
Jumped around, fame and life kind of like took over their careers.
Yeah. This interview, right? Jim Hamilton is known as a bit of like a bantery guy. He kind of leans into I'm a bit of a dumbass sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Henson was always like he was kind of dramatic, bit of a prima donna. This interview was like a heart to heart between two intelligent men. And I was caught off guard and I was like, this isn't this isn't your brand. Both of them were really honest, mature, reflective. And I thought it was a really good interview, right? Because this guy, if things had panned out and he'd been treated better and he had took a bit more responsibility for his own behavior, he could have been our Antoine Dupont. He was that fucking good. He was fucking good.
He was really good.
He was insanely good. He had so much talent.
I think he was just a young guy with a lot of talent.
We talked about it in the interview, right?
And
like,
not a lot of there was didn't have anyone looking out for him.
He didn't.
Not a lot of good mentorship.
And I remember a story he told when he went to play for Bath. A bunch of the guys would kind of egg him on to drink because he knew if he drank, he would just turn into a dickhead, right? A bunch of these guys kind of egged him on to drink. They got a few drinks in him. He got in a fight and he got banned, right? And he picked a fight with his own teammates and stuff. Like, it just felt like he was just this wild kid and people thought it was funny to pick on him. And I'm not defending because he did do some stupid stuff. It's just sad because what he could have been our once-in-a-generational talent at a time when we were winning stuff, when we were good, It's sad, really.
I'm also worried about him now.
Oh, he's fine.
I'm pretty sure he's a very big prospect for scammers. He said something in this interview that I thought was shocking.
Okay.
And everyone kind of just went on in the interview like it was something. So
yeah,
he mentioned something about his friends and how he was kind of a bad friend. Did you remember that part?
Yeah, he's not good at texting
Then
back.
he made a comment about how he was on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? Jim Hamilton goes, "Hey, were you this was kind of a abrasive question. I was surprised Jim Hamilton asked this.
Yeah.
Were you diagnosed or is that a self-diagnosed?" That's what he says.
Right.
Gavin Henson goes, well, kind of I met this guy. His name is Zario. He's kind of an out there guy. He uses the stars, my birthday, and Aquarius, and he kind of found out,
sounds
hey,
a bit crystally.
You're on the spectrum, and I was like, oh, I guess yeah. When he said that,
yeah,
and I'm listening to this, and he says this line about this guy using the stars and his birthday, I don't know, whatever the fuck, and he's out there, and he just took that. He's like, yeah, you're on the spectrum, and then he believes it enough to say it in an interview that's going to be spread around the world. I was like, he's going to get scammed.
Yeah.
Some guy's going to come, some eccentric guy's going to come,
private message
tell him he has the answers for the universe or some shit,
and
take a bunch of money from him.
But Gav said himself, he's not very good at texting back. So they're probably just not going to text
He's
him back.
enough to make someone believe, some shaman, some back alley shaman to tell him that he is has a medical condition.
Do you know what? If he has to go to South America to vomit up some ayahuasca to discover himself, good for him.
I was just like, man, fuck. When I read when I saw that,
are you worried he's vulnerable?
Yeah, very vulnerable. When someone does something like that, when some back alley shaman tells you something and you take it as reality, someone could take money from you, and I'm worried someone's gonna take money from him. I was really concerned. I was like, someone needs to call Gavin Henson, and
maybe you should text him, say, for a fee, I'll defend you from scammers. Let me vet every text message you get.
I scam him.
You're gonna scam him so that people don't scam him.
It ends up being
you're gonna be your anti-scammer bodyguard.
I have these crystals that I've been waving. I know you're gonna get scammed for $8.99 a month. I'll make sure that I keep all the scamming energy away from you. That's why I pay this guy $800
to keep scammers away, to keep my energies and chakras clean.
Anyways, I thought it was pretty concerning when I saw that interview.
I thought it was a good interview.
Yeah,
it was a good. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see old Gav.
Concerned.
He's my childhood hero, though, so he'll be fine.
What else? You want to talk about some URC on the weekend?
Yeah, let's talk about some games that happened on the weekend.
Let's talk about some games.
Some good, some bad. Actually, you said it pretty good before. This is the week of the depleted teams.
Yes.
The week before the Six Nations, there are some wonky results, aren't there?
Yeah, there were some key results.
We're starting with the URC. We're starting with the wonkiest result of the weekend, the first game up.
Ospreys Benetton. The whole team's gone.
But Ospreys have lost probably, all their best guys.
But Benetton lost their whole team.
Yeah, and this just says no strength in depth. Well, I will say for the Ospreys, they look good. So Mark Jones, the guy who's replaced Toby Booth, hasn't lost a game. You don't seem surprised by that. You should be surprised
by that.
Yeah, has not lost a game. And in an emphatic style beats Benetton, who the week before beat La Rochelle. So for me, that's a big deal. I understand there's implications about stars being away, but Ospreys had their stars away, so it's not like this was Ospreys A team versus Benetton C team, you know?
Benetton have some actually surprising names on their team.
Okay.
Like Thomas, how do you say his Gallo?
Yeah.
You'd say it's spelled Gallo, but it's Spanish. That's Gallo.
Pico de Gallo.
Yeah, he's the loose head for the Pumas.
Mm.
Right? They have Augustin Krevy
Yeah.
playing for them. They
Yeah.
have Malachi Fikatoa
Yeah, they do.
playing for them. They had some interesting names at Benetton. They've been
No, they've been building.
they've been building some
They got some depth.
names there.
Yeah, they've got some depth.
But this was a surprising result.
It was surprising, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I expected Benetton to fire a few
Ospreys
shots.
just came and just whipped out their dick and slapped them with them. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they did. They did.
That was an assault.
Yeah, no one nils. It's rare you see a nilling in the URC anymore, isn't it?
Especially with a Welsh team doing the nilling.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
No, we
anymore.
don't. We don't nil many people anymore.
Scarlets took one on Edinburgh too.
You know, this was a really close game at the end. Did you watch this one?
Mm-mm.
This was close at the end. Like Scarlets, it was nervy. It maybe it not looked. I know 6 points. It could be a lot. Couldn't be a lot. It was fucking close. It was fucking close at the end. So it was a good win for Scarlets. I also say about that really.
This was a week that the South African teams
Yeah.
really could have gobbled up, but two of the teams played each other. I was like, fuck, these guys could have gotten some points.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they both could have went up anywhere, got some points.
Yeah.
Because all the Northern Hemisphere teams got players missing.
They do. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
The only guys that are playing are the guys that like have been injured for a while and need some playing time before
Yeah.
the Six Nations that are in the squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the time for them to get some points.
Yeah, and we could say, speaking of which, Leinster pretty much battered the Stormers 36-12, right? And yes, it's not the full strength Irish team playing there, but they did have James Lowe back from injury. They did have Dan Sheehan 2 tries scored.
2 tries, 7 tackles,
Yeah.
line break.
Yeah,
9
his line out
carries.
looked a bit ropey, and he looked a bit under pace, but you would expect that.
Oh, I thought he looked great.
No, and that was the point I was going to
Yeah.
make. For coming straight back from injury, where you would expect a bit of rustiness, he was still quality.
He was. I thought he was like. I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
this guy's like right back. Like,
And everyone's licking their lips because he's back, and rightly so. But James Lowe's back, and he had a fuck of a game.
yeah,
He did have a fuck of a game. And, like,
he's a veteran now,
yes.
so he can. Like guys like James Lowe, I'm not worried about like
Yeah.
leaving for a bit and coming back. This
100%.
is second nature.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, Dan Sheehan's a young guy.
yeah.
Losing that time,
Is
like
big.
he's still growing into a professional.
He's at Leinster. He probably had a team of 10 guys around him feeding him grapes while he was recovering.
The big leaves.
Yeah.
fanning him.
Yeah, yeah. He's got, like, these, like, naked boys with little loincloths on. Like, Dan, do you need anything else?
Can we please go?
2 whole chickens, quickly.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
just-
good for him, man. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came back.
Fuck, like.
Well, how'd you beat Leinster? They haven't lost a game since maybe the last 300 years.
Did
So
you see RG Snyman? He's
Yeah.
fucking incredible too.
he makes it look like he's playing with children.
If I was a Munster fan, it would just
Oh,
grind.
that
my
is the funniest thing. That is the
fucking
funniest thing.
gears
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. This is genuinely one of the best locks in the last 30 years.
He's
And
playing on easy. Like he's playing on easy mode in that
yeah,
game.
one hand in balls to
Yeah,
people from
just
line out.
basketball
Yeah.
throwing balls.
Yeah.
Balls to like other people. Like
When he goes into contact or he's in a maul, he's like a whole half a body of a human above everyone else, just wading through it like he's walking through shallow waters.
palming the
Yeah,
ball,
yeah.
and then he just tosses it away.
And you know when he gets close to the line and he gets tackled, this has happened 3 or 4 times now. He'll get tackled. He could be 5 or 6 meters short, and an arm the size of a fucking telegraph pole just reaches out and plants it over the try line, right?
he's like fucking Dawson from Street Fighter.
Yeah, stretchy fucking go gadget arm,
It's like
fucking
fucking-
plants it over the line
I
like
was like, what the fuck? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just even
it's a cheat code, isn't it?
Yeah, Barrett too, Jordy Barrett.
Yeah, obviously very good. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of like when you talk about Toulouse or Bordeaux or Leinster now. It's like, yeah, obviously they won, and everyone's like, oh, weren't they good? Weren't they good? Yeah, they were. Yeah, of course they were fucking good. Look at the guys they've got.
You know
right?
who they didn't give a rest to was Slimani.
No, tan him.
Yeah, they
Tan
tanned the
his
shit out of
hide.
him.
Tan his. That's what he's there for.
68 minutes he played.
Yeah, poor guy. Yeah,
for the fucking Six Nations.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
make sure you give this guy as many minutes
yeah,
as possible.
yeah.
Like,
Tan
fuck.
his hide.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what he's there for.
Yeah, it was just, the fucking team's great.
Yeah, it is really good. Cardiff kind of shit. Oh, let's talk about Callum Sheedy. So let's do it.
Oh my fucking god!
Let's talk about Callum Sheedy. Say what I don't want to say.
He sucks.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? That like lackluster
He's soft
attempt
in
at a
tackles. isn't he?
tackle.
Yeah.
I forget who it was that ran at him.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, this guy should never fucking play rugby ever again.
It just makes me miss
If
Tynes
I was
de
a
Beer.
coach and I saw that, just no interest.
Yeah.
He basically protects himself.
Yeah.
He runs up to him and then he protects himself.
It's like he's throwing in a shoulder bang, but it's
Yeah.
not even big enough or strong enough
He's
to
like,
make an
fuck it,
impact.
I'm not
to be,
stopping this guy.
It's sad, isn't it? And I was so excited for Sheedy to come home. We needed like a homegrown 10 who was going to guide the team. Because Tynes de Beer, as awesome as he's been, we forget he was an emergency cheap buy, right? And yeah, he absolutely filled the hole.
I'm
but-
pretty sure it was Bungie that ran at him.
Bungie and Bonambi.
Yeah, and just like
Yeah.
kind of pushed him off aside.
Yeah, and he's a big dude, obviously. But you got to make it look like you're trying, don't you?
It
Like,
just, I was just depressing. When I
it
saw
is
that.
depressing. Yeah, I don't know. I love Cardiff, but
And when it had this like, there was like this kick that
Yeah.
came up, and he like runs up to go catch it, and then he just starts looking at everyone around him. Like
he has a
got
moment of
spooked.
fear, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I think it was Mapimpi just grabs the ball and runs it
Just
in.
does his thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mapimpi,
Oh yeah, Mapimpi.
Did you watch the video?
No, I didn't watch the eye
Eye-gouged.
gouge.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
see this eye gouge.
I got a bit annoyed because people were saying, "Oh, that's not an eye gouge." He deliberately grabs the guy's face around the eyes. I don't care if he's trying or not to do it. That's fucked, you know. And it annoys me because the TMO should do something about that. Like the TMOs in the URC miss a lot of stuff. He'll probably get a ban, but you've got to do something about that at the time, right? You know, you've got cameras in slow motion when guys are having a scrap. That's the thing you look at, you know? So I'm a bit annoyed by that. Not that I'm saying it would have affected the game. I thought the Sharks definitely deserved their win, especially when they brought their subs on in the end. They definitely like ran away with it, but not do anything about that at the time was a bit fucking egregious for me.
Just trying to see if I could see this eye gouge.
Yeah, it was. He just kind of like grabs the guy's face and.
Because I see a picture here. He's got like his like, I can't find a video of it.
They're both tussling. They're grabbing each other's shirts, and Mapimpi's hands move up to the guy's face, obviously deliberately, and do some eye poking. Have a bit of
that
an eye
sucks.
explore.
You don't
Yeah.
need that in the game. Oh yeah, I can see right here. He's just got. Oh yeah, there's definitely some eye gouge in there.
Yeah, and he'll get a ban for that, I've no doubt. But do something about it on the field.
I don't know what they're probably gonna fucking throw the book at him though.
I want them to. You shouldn't eye gouge people. I want them to do that. You gotta come down hard on that kind of stuff.
Nothing like good old eye gouging in a rugby game.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Cardiff. That was a pretty shit performance.
Yeah.
It was kind of depressing. To
We
watch.
were in the game until sort of like the 60 minutes, I thought, and then all sort of fell apart.
Exeter finally got a win too, and if we go over the Premiership, finally got another win against Saracens.
I was talking about Saracens as if they're the team that don't go away and they never die, and then they lose the fucking Exeter Chiefs.
They're missing quite a few guys.
Yeah, this is the week for that.
Yeah,
This is the week for that.
so
I don't know.
it was kind of like a exciting. It was kind of hard to get excited for this weekend's games.
Sometimes these games will really.
Six Nations Eve is just kind of the Eve weekend is like, yeah,
Everyone's got one eye on a bigger tournament, and the guys who we like aren't even on the field. But for me, this, especially in terms of the league standings, was a big week. Because now is the time where if you're in a position in the league, it's been about 9 or 10 games now, something like that. That's where you should be.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, like, remember at the start of the season when Lions went on like a 3-game winning streak and they were the top of the league and everyone was like, they're unbeaten. And when you say unbeaten, it implies many games, not 3 games. And I was like, calm the fuck down. It's been 3 games, right? Someone will beat them. But at this point, if you're Leinster and you haven't lost a game, that's significant, right? Or if you're the Bulls or Glasgow and you're in the top 4, that's probably where you're going to stay, right?
I'm just kind of wondering, like, is Leinster... sometimes I feel like they just haven't been tested in the URC yet.
I just think they're that much better. I do think some teams have really thrown the kitchen sink. That game with Connacht when they were super frustrated and Leinster still beat them, it was a close enough game for a while, you know?
Yeah, they are good at digging themselves out of some holes.
Yeah, I just can't see anyone beating Leinster. I think they win this but lose the Champions Cup. They win the USC but lose in the final
I just feel
in
like
the Champions Cup.
I don't know. I feel like there's something missing with them. Like they just haven't been tested.
Who's going to test them?
I don't know.
It's Bordeaux.
Have they played the Sharks full squad?
Uh,
The Stormers were put out a pretty beefy team against them on the weekend.
they've beaten significant teams in there.
Like, I'm just trying to go through with who they've beaten. And 47-14 Bulls. April 24th. That was last year. So, anyways, yeah. Whatever.
You sound sad.
I'm not sad.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Okay.
Another thing in the news, LA to play the Fijian Drua.
Oh.
MLR team playing a Super Rugby team. What do you think this means? January 24th, 2025 in Los Angeles.
2 days ago.
Sorry, no, the history will be made on Friday, January 24th, 2025 when rugby
So this
football-
game has already happened.
What? The match will be held at Conchurch?
So we missed it.
No, the history will be made.
Well, I was going to say what a way to raise the
when
profile of the
Rugby
game,
Club
but
Los
apparently we
Angeles
missed
travel
it.
to Fiji to take on the Fijian
Are you reading the date of the article or the date of the scheduled game?
What the fuck?
Did
I
we
thought
miss
this
this?
was coming up. I think we missed it.
It's like talking to a senile man over here.
I'm just kind of
The
lost.
Fijian Drua.
Hold on a second here.
Okay, your Googling breaks, though. They're really ruining my continuity here. Can you,
Well, help me out here.
No, I'm okay. It's funnier to mock you.
Late score gives Drew a win over LA.
We missed it.
We missed it.
Okay, well, I was going to say what a great marketing opportunity.
Fuck.
And
Late try. Virginia flanker. Drew a 33-26 over Los Angeles. I really wanted to cover
I would have
this
watched
game.
that. I would have watched that.
I would have watched this too.
Yeah. Well, they didn't bloody advertise it well, then, did they?
Fuck me.
Yeah. I like the Drua. I know we shit on Super Rugby a lot, but I want the Drua to be a thing, you know? I want Moana and Pacifica and the Drua to kind of raise their game and be a force, you know?
I love the idea of these like cross league games.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't want a whole tournament.
No, you're like some one-off friendlies, eh?
I like the one-off
Some
friendlies.
exhibition games.
So 33-26.
Yeah. I mean, this is technically a preseason warm-up, right? Because
Yeah,
Super Rugby is just around the corner.
And MLR is starting up just around the corner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So this is the big result for LA.
For Drua.
Well, no, not for Drua.
Oh,
Drua was like when Drua versus any MLR team, who do you think is going to win?
yeah.
Okay, they compete in the Super Rugby
Yeah.
and they win occasionally in Super Rugby.
Yeah.
So
I think next week we need to do a feature on the MLR. We need to watch some games and go, is it good now? Maybe not next week because that's not when they've started.
I think it's good.
Tell you what, in the Six Nations bye week, we're gonna do an MLR feature. Is it good now? Is it worth watching? Is it worth your time and money?
I just feel like their production quality across the league is not up. They don't have a standard.
No.
That's what they're missing.
There's still some hammerings.
It's not I think the quality of rugby is pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're a rugby fan, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
They haven't captured, the quality of the production quality of the games when you're watching them on TV. There's no standard.
Yeah.
So you're either getting a professional looking game or you're getting like the guy's uncle with a camcorder from
Repainted soccer field.
that he bought in like 2003.
Some plastic chairs for bleachers.
Yeah, it's just so the quality is not there.
Yeah.
They haven't made. They're bad at making the stories for the games. You know what I mean? Like building up the narrative behind the league.
Which, because rugby, we should expect that because we've shitted it. But these are Americans. This is what they're good at.
Yeah, this
selling
should be
things.
their bread and butter. Right?
Yeah.
So
Hyping things up is what they're good at, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you're going to compete in a sport in America, you gotta put on a suit and tie.
Every game of sport has to be a fucking festival, doesn't it? Like it needs to be a carnival atmosphere every
Yep.
game. And they're good at that, right? They're really, really good at that, and fair play to them. We're putting rugby, it's almost like a petri dish of what could rugby be if you had the glitz and glamour of American sports around it, right? So I'm waiting for the day where we see an MLR final and it's like a fucking marching band and cheerleaders and things, you
and
know?
this is how like the MLS in the United States almost failed because they were playing in the atmospheres of the game looked shit, and fans, sports fans in America really pick up on that.
They do.
And I forget who they brought over to run the MLS, but he's like, they need to play in smaller stadiums. They need to get that crowds together.
Yeah.
We need to build these
Maybe
like
that
stadiums.
intimacy, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to build these stadiums to fit like not as many people, so that the
Yeah.
crowds look more engaged,
Yeah.
thicker, better, louder.
Yeah.
And that worked for them hard.
It does work. It does work. And I look at that Ospreys game against Benetton. They played in the Swansea Football Stadium again. And whenever they play there, it looks like nobody watches the Ospreys. But when they play in St. Helens, it looks like Gloucester is fucking bouncing.
South
because the
African teams
capacity
are
is-
bad for that too. They play in those huge like
They play-
60,000 feet.
and it looks shitty, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
whenever you see like a team play, like Edinburgh's a good example. They play in those little sheds, Gloucester and Edinburgh, and the atmosphere looks fucking electric. But there's half the people, right? So 100%. Look at MLS now, though. Like it's a big deal, right?
Yeah, they're some of the franchises worth $1 billion now.
Packing out stadiums. Yeah.
So they need to like, for the MLR to be like, to get even more successful, they need to They need to set a line for their production value.
Yeah.
Like this is what you have to be at,
Yeah.
and they need to like fix like just the illusion, because like it is all about like the illusion, especially for Americans.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to sell them on a spectacle.
It is. Yeah.
Right? If something looks amazing, they want to be a part of it. They're like,
It's easy
oh,
to
yeah.
sell me on a spectacle. If something looks exciting, like I'm like a moth to the flame.
Americans are just like they just love spectacles.
They love a party. I don't
They
blame.
love just anything out there, and
Let's
they're
not mock
just
them. It sounds
out there
fun.
People,
Yeah, I want to watch a party. I want to have a good time.
yeah.
But yeah, Fiji and Drew in LA. Long may
Ah,
it.
shit that we fucking missed this
I
game.
know, I know. Yeah,
One of the worst rugby podcasts in the fucking world.
yeah. Well, we know that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's not news anymore.
No. I guess we missed that. We fucked up. We're gonna do a feature on the MLR if we can get our shit together in the Six Nations break, though. Yeah. I think that's all I want to talk about, though.
And then next week, we are good.
You want to predict some Six Nations to finish?
Let's take a look. Fuck yeah, we should take some look at this thing here. Let's look at the Six Nations games right before we leave here. What's the first game here? You got it up there?
I think it's France Wales.
Is that the Friday game?
It's the Friday game.
Is that where we gotta play hooky?
I'm taking a day off work via my legal channels.
France versus Wales
Yeah.
at the Stade de France.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think we're gonna fucking lose.
You think so?
Yeah, of course I do.
I have a feeling.
Oh, don't start.
I got a feeling that this is going to be a competitive match.
Here's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to play slightly better than people expected and lose by 15 points.
I think you're going to play slightly better than people expected for the first half.
Yeah.
And then lose by like 30 points.
Could happen.
Yeah.
France.
Because they'll have to start subbing players off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when those subs come on and France bring on the largest humans known to humanity and we bring on some children, it's over. It's over.
I'm going to say like it's going to be like a 15 to like 40 game.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. It's hard to see any way we win this game because not only are we bad, France are really good in the opposite direction, right?
Oh my God, this is the first week.
Yeah.
They got some pretty big games going on here.
Yeah, the Scotland, Italy.
This is this game I want to get up for.
We're getting out of bed for Italy. This is big news.
This is it. It's on at 7:15 a.m.
Yeah,
in the morning.
I am getting up to watch a game of Italian rugby.
And
good for you, Italy.
Anything can happen now.
Something better fucking happen.
Yeah,
because they've been gaslighting me now.
Scotland are a good team. Like
Scotland
they could take this away.
I mean, them without Tuipulotu though is genuinely a different story. So if Tuipulotu was playing, I may have stayed in bed. I thought, Scotland will batter him.
I'm calling. Oh, this is great. I'm going to call an Italy win.
Well, they beat him last year. They literally beat him last year.
I think Italy are going to win this game.
Italy do have some injuries though, so
that's true. But they do have a lot of guys that are back.
yeah.
I'm going to call Italy.
I'm not. I'm calling Scotland. Yeah, I'm calling Scotland.
Italy by like 5 points. It'll be close.
It's in Murrayfield.
I still think Italy could do it.
Do you know what Murrayfield is called now? It's kind of funny.
Fortress or
Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
it's not the Alliance. It's not called the Alliance.
No, that's Twickenham.
No, I know, but it was like the Alliance.
Oh, they bought a
Murrayfield.
bunch of people, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Murrayfield is called Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
Oh my God.
It's awful, isn't it? Yeah. The fart stadium.
Ireland, England.
Oh, this will be in the Aviva. England aren't scared of playing Ireland for some reason.
No,
they
they're
just
not.
they have a blind spot. They're like, we're playing who? Fuck those guys. Like, so I think I don't know. I can't call that because England do have a habit of upsetting Ireland, don't they?
They do. But I feel like this year
Ireland are ready.
Their team is more put together. Like they're just more. They have everything. They got a lot more figured out.
I disagree. I think they're in a
Borthwick's
worse
still trying to-
situation.
Borthwick's still trying to figure out his team.
I think that's the other thing, though. England are in
That's
a
the
worse
problem.
situation. Yeah.
What do you mean Ireland in a worse situation?
They've
They
got-
know their team.
They knew their team last year, and they had the guys who were coming back from injury last year. Those same guys were fit and firing, right?
Yeah, these guys. Everyone's fit and firing right now.
I mean, Dan
They have
Sheehan
everyone back. They have
has played one game after a long
and he
time
looked
out.
incredible.
Didn't look incredible. He looked a 7 out of 10.
He looked good.
He looked a 7 out of 10.
And
James Lowe looked a 7.5 out of 10. Guys who are normally 8, 9 out of 10.
Coming back from injury.
Right, and like the second game is still in
So
the
they're gonna
coming
have
back from
another
injury.
week of healing and training. Everyone's
Little
good to
boys in
go.
loincloths feeding him grapes for
Yeah,
another week. Yeah,
I gotta say, Ireland are gonna win this game comfortably.
I think what I've done is I've hyped.
You're
I've
trying to convince yourself that England have a chance. I don't think so.
No, I don't think they do. Ireland are going to win.
Yeah. Not saying that England couldn't beat them. Not saying that England don't have the players to beat them.
Don't
but
be a
they just-
coward.
Borthwick just
Ireland are
doesn't.
going to win.
Yeah.
England.
And the only reason why the England are not going to win this game is because of Borthwick.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree
That's
with
what
that.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah, pick your fucking
Yeah.
best team.
The
Yeah.
only team he's gonna put like fucking. He's gonna like. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put what's that? Marcus Smith at fullback.
Yeah.
Some
Oh,
shit.
fuck's sake. Yeah.
You know.
Harry Randall
Elliot
come on
Daly
to
is gonna be a
booze.
lock. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
gonna do. He's gonna.
Yeah.
He's gonna do the. He's just gonna make. I just don't have faith in him.
No, me too. Me too.
So, and we'll just have to wait to see which 10 Ireland choose.
I don't care anymore.
Well, friends, thank you for listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast.
Yes.
Like and share our podcast. You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com if you have any questions or advice about life. You know, want to talk about things.
I saw you on Reddit responding to a comment saying someone was like, "Don't use AI," and then you were like, "Fuck off, we're doing it." So apparently
I
we
wasn't
don't
even
listen.
using AI. That's why I was like,
Oh.
because I searched us up on Google, and then and when you search us up on Google, the AI, whatever it's Gemini,
Yeah.
it gives a description.
Uh-huh.
The first thing that comes up is a description of our podcast, and
Yeah.
it's just a rehash of all the titles,
Yeah.
and it was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, so I was
Adam
like,
Jones's chocolate stash.
yeah.
Ah.
But anyways, friends, have a good one.
See ya.